Councillor Stone, I did want to bring the debate to a close with the Mayor. Is there one particular point that you wanted to make? I can tell that you...
Yes, there is, Lord Mayor. I've been robbed of the possibility of sharing some information with you. However, the one point I want to make, if it's going to be one point only, George, you sit on top of the mountain with the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not travel greater than 20 miles an hour. But that will actually cost 2.3 million and 32,000 unwanted and unnecessary signage. Earlier tonight, there are parents here with the most vulnerable children in the whole city, with £330,000 to be able to sustain the bush. Yeah. What's more important, them or 20-mile-an-hour zones? It's the parents.
Can I call on the Mayor now?
Recently, I watched a cyclist coming up St Michael's Hill being knocked over by a cab, obeying the 20-mile-an-hour limit at the top of Tyndall's Park. I was just behind. Cyclist went flying. She picked herself up. She was slightly injured, went to see a doctor, but she was alive. I'm absolutely convinced that if that cabbie, and I said it to him, if you'd been going at 30 miles an hour and this had still been a 30-mile-an-hour area, you'd probably have severely maimed or killed her, and he agreed. And there are loads of stories like that, and I've been told loads of stories by people who were against 20 mile an hour and have been converted to it because they have realised that they may have had a near miss, might have hit a child or whatever, if they'd been going faster. I'm absolutely sure that the majority of the citizens of Bristol recognise the importance of this. I'm not surprised by Mark Weston and the Conservative Party. They've been consistent about their views. Of course, I'm not surprised by the Green Party, and I applaud them for the view they take, and I'm pleased that my good friend Gary Hopkins and my other good friend Tim Kent and others within the Liberal Democrats have shown the way and started this in Bristol. Thank you. It took courage, and I've been pleased to be able to support it. What I am surprised about is the squirming that I've heard from Labour Party members who are trying to use this as a party political point and trying to use it as a future point for their mayoral election, and I think that is despicable. The Labour group have lost their moral compass. The Labour group on Bristol City Council are playing games. Let me look. I checked out what Labour groups are doing on other councils. In York, the Labour councillor David Levine said 20 MPH is about making streets more usable and making considerate driving a social norm. We need them throughout York. In Manchester, the Labour council is rolling out more 20 MPH limits so that 2,900 roads and streets have the limit. Could you be quiet, please? There are many positive benefits to the introduction of 20 MPH zones, including creating healthy. This is in Manchester from the creating healthy. Sorry.
That we are councillors as well, please. That we are responding
that we are responding to a petition raised by the people of Bristol, a large number of them. Therefore, if we can stick to the issue.
I wonder if
Sorry to say, have to say this, but I don't think the party politics is helped.
I'm sorry about the party politics, Lord Mayor, but that was inflicted on us by people who I believe were bending the argument in order to be able to oppose this. The common it's dishonesty. The common criticism that I hear of 20 miles an hour zones from people is it's fine to have them around schools and hospitals, but why have you done a blanket rollout? Well, it's not a blanket rollout, but if you're walking or cycling to school, that could be almost anywhere in the city, and it's very important that we create safe routes to schools. The 20 mph limits have been installed in residential streets and shopping areas across Bristol, but these are still supported by a network of 30 and 40 mile an hour. And I think it is quite wrong to imply that it's 100% 20 miles an hour. Any so-called main roads, which include shops, schools and parks and health facilities with high levels of pedestrians and cyclists, are quite rightly 20 miles an hour. I'm not in any way claiming that we've got every element right. Of course there will be things to review, but on balance we have a much more civilised and safer city, as well as keeping our network of 30 and 40 mile an hour arterial roads. This criteria for where we put 20 miles an hour that goes beyond some of people's desire to see them just directly outside schools is essential for ensuring the safer, quieter and more inclusive communities that I, and I'm sure most of us, are striving to support. The second myth that I would like to put to bed once and for all is that this is part of some sort of war on motorists. This is absolute nonsense. Many Bristolians drive and own cars and play a central part in their communities and welcome having safer communities. The benefits of the lower limits easily outweigh the potential frustrations. Earlier, when I talked of the cyclist's life that was saved by a lower speed, I could just as easily have been talking about a motorist. Motorists walk. Motorists go by other means around the city as well. Equally, people who happen to drive have children, parents, grandparents who walk and cycle. This measure is about protecting our communities as a whole. One of the perceived frustrations around 20 miles an hour, that it slows down journey times, has been shown time and time again to only have a marginal impact. What's interesting is there was a recent survey that put the average speed on our urban roads in Bristol at 14.2 miles an hour. The previous average speed a couple of years ago was 14.4 miles an hour. And so there's been a 0.2 mile an hour reduction since the implementation across the city. Equally, in short, 20 miles an hour zones give us safer, happier and more inclusive communities with very little detrimental impact. And I find it hard to imagine any politician seriously considering reversing this decision and reversing the expenditure that was nationally paid for. Just like the other major cities across the UK that are introducing 20 miles an hour, including Portsmouth, Newcastle, Oxford, Bath, Edinburgh, Manchester, Liverpool, nearly all Labour administrations and many more, I'm delighted that our communities can start to see the positive impacts that slower speed limits can achieve and I am going to defend these.
At the moment, no, I'm sorry, but at the moment, within the Constitution, there actually is no limit imposed upon the Mayor. But I would ask you, Mayor, if you your comments to a close. So thank you very much. People, can we just bear in mind that in fact we are from the people of Bristol, and there will be people watching the webcast. So let's keep it as a reasoned debate, please. And if you can bring your comments very quickly to a close, please, Mayor.
I know that 20 miles an hour saves lives. I know that this is good value in the long term. And I know that when we look back, it will be like the banning of smoking in public places. It would be unthinkable to reverse it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lord Mayor, point of clarification.
The Council and on the...
Can I have a point of clarification, please?
Who is it speaking? I'm sorry. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Just to clarify matters, the Labour Party has never said they're against 20 mile an hour. The Mayor's stating that we are. All we've done is to point that there are some parts of it that hasn't worked, which he's just admitted himself in his wind-up, when he wound us all up. So I just want to clarify the fact that it's the Mayor, I think, is playing politics with this, and not the Labour Party.
I heard not one word of support in favour of the 20 miles an hour from your group.
Councillors, as Lord Mayor, I am bringing the debate to a close. Thank you for that explanation. But we are now moving on to the next item. But to those people who have come and not presented their petition, but who have come to listen to the debate, and to the people listening on the webcast, your petition will be presented to the Mayor and to the Assistant Mayor, and you should get a response. So thank you all very much indeed.